I got Wilkin and Chris Hill together and told them to calm it down and everything. And I thought that was quite good to kind of stamp his authority on the game.
Actually, Dolan was good in the Wigan game as well on Thursday night, so that's a couple of good referee performances to talk about, which is positive. Okay, if anything, with an average gain of 8.5 metres per carry and 15 breaks, Saints undersold themselves by only scoring 6 tries. The only key stat they didn't beat up on Wire on was penalties. Saints gave up 4 more than they earned, showing discipline may be an issue, but nothing else is going into the semi-finals. Worrying for Wire will be the 83% team tackle success. A stat they usually lead the way in. Their average this season is over 93% and they lead the way in the league in that, but that is a big dip, so that's a worry for them at this stage. Individually, Ben Barber, 2 tries, 11 tackles, 150 metres, 3 clean breaks. It feels like it's March all over again. Luke Douglas, 1 try, 138 metres. Ryan Morgan, 1 try, 7 tackles, 127 metres, 2 clean breaks. And Jack Ashworth celebrated his new deal with 108 metres and 4 successful offloads. For Warrington, Toby King with a try assist, 5 tackles and 147 metres was the biggest meter maker this weekend. Mike Cooper, 129 metres, 5 successful offloads. Ryan Atkins, 138 metres, and Steph Ratchford, 118 metres. So that is the Ryan Atkins got credit there, didn't he? We were doing so well on this game with Ryan Atkins bashing until he got credit at that point. That brings that game to a conclusion, though.
So the other match on Saturday was Hull FC against Catalans, which finished Catalans 26, Hull 20. Half time was 10-4 to Catalans. The referee was a Mr. M. Griffiths, and there were allegedly 10,467 people in the KCOM Stadium.
Yeah. Tom Andrews, hard to enjoy Hull FC losing 10 in a row after KR's shambolic performance. Shambolic should be underlined. Well, maybe it takes the edge off a little bit. They do have crippling injuries, if you haven't heard. It's not talked about much, though, in the biased media. Small confession, I'm actually engaged to an FC fan, and she has a right go every Tuesday when she tunes in. Love you, Paige. Laughing emoji.
Paige, get your reviews in.
Yeah. Let's get some balance in from that household. That's amazing.
Mal Karma Tios says, crap karma, 8th then 7th, Cup saved the Kirch, and Hull are busted and all. Poor season with a squad like that. However, I'd like to point out that James Clark told us that there's been £600,000 of cap sat in the stand every week.
Or 300,000.
Well, we've not heard about it all yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we need to tell more about the injury crisis of Hull. That's what we need. Joshua's granddad, 2 minutes of ecstasy when we had our noses in front, but it was not to be. Too many raw options or poor execution coupled with shit tackling from a full-back who should have done better finished us off.
Phil Nadin said, not a bad effort really. Still no clue in goal line attack, but it was nice to see more passion in the tackling efforts. I put this down to Joshua having a go at Radders in the pre-game interview. It was actually the post-game interview, but don't worry about it, Phil. Great to see Sarah.
I got stuck in pre-game too if he had the chance.
If he had the chance, he would have done, yeah. Great to see Sarah and media officer Joshua before the game, and also great to see Rich Langers and his mum for a pre-game pint and a chat. How did you see it then?
And much of the games we've had all season started kind of dominating. First 15-20 minutes we were all over them. Catalan didn't have the ball. First time they got in our 20, waltzed through, made it look easy. Then I think it was Gigo who scored the second try, just bounced off tackles that he shouldn't have done, kind of effectively ran over Jamie Shaw. We start a little bit of a comeback, score a couple, they score a couple. Jake Connor looked really good.
Yeah.
A couple of the passes, he especially the one for Tools's try, just a beauty of a flat pass, cut out 2 men, put him in. Beretta started a good move, good team move, kind of started from halfway, and we scored. So that was the one that we took the lead with.
Yeah.
And then just after that, with 10 minutes to go, well, I don't even want to say schoolboy tackling. It was just when Kenny Edwards went in from about 40 metres, it was just I knew at that point. I was like, yeah, that's it. It's time to pack up.
Yeah, I think it was disappointing because, as you say, we did start well. I think we got back-to-back penalties, which put us in a great position. And was it Hadley that passed to? I can't remember. Somebody passed to Jamie Shaw, and he knocked on with the line straight in front of him.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of situations where we just could not complete. We actually had made the breakthrough, but we just couldn't complete it. I mean, in the second half, we had Griffin make the break, and he had tools outside him. He had two players inside him, and he decides to throw the ball inside 3 yards forward. The most ridiculous pass ever. Give it to your winger. Trust your winger to go. So, instead of, or even be tackled, but instead of being tackled on your 20, you give the ball to the opposition.
Feels like you're unloading a lot that you couldn't do when you were sat in the press box. Do Catalan deserve any credit for winning this game?
No, not really. I mean, any side. I mean, I think Widnes would have given us a run for our money. We do so much good work and dominate, but I think it's been the story of the second after the injury crisis. The story of our season has been when we get into the 10 metre opposition 10 metres, we just don't have a clue.
It's like we're buying time until we can get to the kick, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't know what to do until we can get to that kick.
Yeah, we don't look like we're gonna make a break. And like I said, Catalan's first two tries, the lads from 10 metres out just pushed a couple of tackles, ran forward and scored. Yeah.
I must say, on the subject of the referee, he had a very, very good knowledge of the rule book. The criticism with that is he seemed to want to use the rule book completely, but only once. It was like, that's rule number 1 I've dealt with, rule number 2. And so there wasn't the consistency, although he did show a vast array of knowledge of the rules.
Yeah, the one where Tools got penalised for
playing the ball off the mark.
Playing the ball, he'd kind of
about fucking time.
Yeah, but he was.
He never plays it on the mark.
He was being pushed.
He's nearly as bad as Carney in that regard.
He was kind of being pushed, and he kind of pushed back. And as he kind of pushed back, he stepped forward to play the ball, and then the ref blew him up. And he's like, "Well, that's fair enough, but you've got to be consistent."
Yeah, do it.
What about the other 80 playing from not the mark?
Yeah, let's face it, Tony G goals done it 100 times.
Yeah, exactly.
They're playing the percentages there, though, aren't they? Because 9 times out of 10, that goes as a penalty to the attacking side. And every team, it's creeping in more and more, and it's making refs' jobs harder and harder. And that's why, as the fans, we criticise because we see it from the side and we think they're not consistent.
And then it also means that if you're taking 2 steps forward before playing the ball, it's not a full 10 metres to your defensive line. Whereas actually, it should be the attacker that's penalised. But if you're going to penalise it once, you've got to penalise it every game.
Well, every. But if they did that, it'd stop.
Exactly. If
you knew you were going to get penalised for it, but what they don't, because then what happens is people like me are criticising them on Twitter because there's been 20 penalties in a game, so they can't win.
I think my issue is that every single play of the ball, you could give at least 4 penalties to either way. And it just seems to be the luck of the draw which one that particular referee decides to give at that particular time.
I mean, we've seen it in the NRL this year, haven't we? So they had a crackdown early on, and certain teams suffered, like the Storm and the Sharks, in terms of their penalties. They were just getting penalised constantly. And then the pressure built up from fans and the media saying, well, the games are not flowing, the poor watches, etc. They clarify it in terms of coming back and say, we need to let the games flow, and then they just let the old patterns just fall back in, and the pushing of the line in terms of rule breaking.
Yeah, and funnily enough, as it happened, after that happened, Storm and Sharks were back at the top of the table. Shocker.
Yeah, funny that.
But it comes back to the point that we've made before, isn't it, about the constant showing of replays during matches, the constant criticism from the broadcasters, because that then sort of justifies the complaints from the fans, because if they're saying that the referees are rubbish, then it's all right for us to say it.
Well, we are sort of saying it, unfortunately, aren't we, a lot of the time at the moment? It seems to be creeping back into the narrative.
But the broadcasters are also complaining if they give too many penalties.
I've never seen this guy referee a game, so
did
it look like he was learning? wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think I misnamed him before because I initially thought it was Liam Moore because he looked so young.
Yeah.
I just kind of assumed it was Liam Moore. I don't get a programme, so it was must be him. But yeah, M. Biffy said
it's his second Super League match. We were chatting to the match commissioner before the game because
was it the same guy that ref Cass v Catalan a few minutes before? He didn't have a brilliant game there, but Cass won, so I wasn't bothered. That's how it works.
No, you had Dolan, I think, that game.
Oh, okay.
He did one of the qualifiers games last week. This guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to say. I mean, in no way did he cost the game, and he was probably inconsistent for both sides.
Oh yeah. That was my point was he just seemed to enjoy having a full repertoire of the rules on show.
He had all the arm signals, and there was quite a lot of people going, "What was that for?" I don't understand that signal.
Well, the thing is though, if it is his first kind of one of his first high-profile games, you know very well that he'll be going into review committees with this kind of stuff, and there'll be lots of. They'll be looking at his video and going, yeah, you got that signal right, or you got that wrong, and here's an example of this, here's an example of that. Yeah. So he's got to. I know what you're saying about him demonstrating it, and it's almost like he's almost like justifying, well, you can give me another game. One thing
with Dolan in our game was he forgot to actually put the square in the air for going to the screen. He just went straight to the live decision in the first half, and then in the second half, obviously someone had a word with him. But there is a bit of naivety and simple stuff like that.
A bit of pressure as well, and a bit of nerves.
Yeah. It's good to be getting more refs coming through. It's just a shame that we're testing them. And actually, Barry talked about this in the interview with him about a lack of things like reserves. I mean, there's a lack of testing ground for your referees, and this kind of is doing his training on the job. You wouldn't send an apprentice to fit a boiler on their own.
But I mean, not wanting to denigrate this game particularly, but if you're going to choose a Super 8's game in terms of this is the game to choose.
Definitely.
It's more actually better than some of the qualifiers games, quite frankly.
Oh, totally. There's lots at stake in this game. Nothing at stake in this game.
So,
interestingly, though, Mark's saying about if Wigan win on Friday, they'll be the first team to have won all their Super 8 fixtures. If we were to lose on Friday, we'd be the first team to lose all of our Super 8 matches.
Wow. Interesting.
So therefore,
all to play for.
Therefore, we'll beat you.
Do you want to take us through the stats?
Hull FC had 4 more breaks and a much better team tackle success rate than their visitors. However, with 2 more errors and over 150 fewer metres, they weren't able to execute as well as Catalan in scoring points.
So in Catalan, Burden Williami 1 try, 6 tackle busts, 151 metres. Ian Thornley 1 try assist, 115 metres. Greg Bird 1 try assist, 200 metres. I didn't see him running that much, but Jason Battier.
I wondered if that was a misquote on the
200 metres?
It was off for a while as well.
10 metres a carry.
Yeah, that's no. Wow. Jason Battieri 44 tackles, 15 marker tackles.
Josh Griffin 1 try, 147 metres. Jamie Shaw 1 tackle, 8 tackle bust, 161 metres. The stat you've missed there is the 2 crucial missed tackles.
We don't talk about the negative stats there.
But it has to. Okay, sorry Jamie if you're listening, but you did. Danny Houghton 1 try assist, 49 tackles. Yep, up there again. 10 marker tackles. Beretta Ferreira 5 tackle busts, 133 metres, and we won't talk about his positioning.
There's no stats for that.
Well, he likes to be behind the centre. That's where he's positioned.
Physically, not like running alongside a bit behind for the pass. No, physically stood right behind.
Physically behind, yeah.
Right, so in the standings then, the top 4 spots are confirmed. The semi-final lineups are known. League leaders St Helens will host 4th place Warrington. 2nd place Wigan will host 3rd place Castleford. That means, guys, all the excitement and thrills in the final round is all going to be over. Who will finish in positions 6, the also round positions of 5 to 8. Wakefield and Huddersfield are 5th and 6th, separated only by points difference. Thrilling. Catalan and Hull FC are 7th and 8th, separated just by 1 point on the league, with that Dragons win moving them above the Black and Whites in the table. Right, qualifiers then. Now, where it was also round 6, of course, average attendance in the qualifiers was 4,456, so just over half of what the Super League games were, but the qualifiers justify their existence this week, according to